Hello, my name is Anthony Valenta. I'm a regional sales manager with ColdJet. If you're listening to this message, you're probably in the future. It is January 26th right now, and I highly recommend that if time travel is possible, you come back on January 29th, 2017, because it is Super Bowl Sunday, and there's going to be a lot of good food, drink, sports, entertainment. You can place some bets, and the Patriots will probably win. You already know that, though, of course, if you're coming from the future. So anyways, let's jump into this presentation. Paul, you can edit that out. All right, so I've been asked to give a presentation on the within the food industry, specific applications as they pertain to nut plants. So as we know, California, right, land of fruits and nuts, produce a lot of them. Of course, there has to be a cold jet application inside some of these monster plants. They relate to sanitation. So inside of a food plant, same as for nuts, we're selling mostly to the sanitation managers on increasing food quality and safety. That's a big part of our value proposition to this industry that, of course, you all know, and we'll get into here in just a moment. So you can see some of the brands. These are some of the customers that we have. They're the who's who, the top of the heap as far as producers go for the different types of almonds. Blue Diamond Almond produces more almonds. Planters does more peanuts, and Wonderful does more pistachios than anybody else. And so we have lots of good references in the industry and brand recognition and all that good stuff. So I want to jump into where are nuts grown, who has nuts in their territory, and it goes beyond California, of course. So 99%, almost all of hazelnuts come from Oregon. Pecans come from Georgia and Texas and New Mexico and Oklahoma. Crosses a couple of RSM's territories. Sunflower seeds from another region, and peanuts from an even larger part of the country. So this application finds its way across the U.S. outside of California, and of course these nuts are also processed into butters, and that can happen anywhere in the country. So we have both applications in snack food, roasting of nuts, putting seasoning on them, packaging them, or mashing them up and turning them into butter, peanut butter. The Food Safeties Modernization Act is probably the most important piece of legislation in the food industry in the last decade. There was a huge reform, more changes than we've seen in the last 70 years. The primary focus of the reform was to shift from reactive cleaning to preventative cleaning of food contaminants, food allergens. The nut industry is specifically concerned with salmonella, and that is at the grower processor level. And then at the let's say the producer of the different products, it's nut allergens, and Dryas does an excellent job addressing both of those concerns. So, for example, here in Lost Hills, California, where Wonderful is located, they have 4 plants all processing pistachios. They had a voluntary recall because they got 11 people sick, sent 2 of them to the hospital. They recalled their products all the way across North America and Peru. And interesting enough, when I did a Google search, it said that no Ohio illnesses were reported, according to the Cleveland magazine or newspaper. The financial impact of a recall is significant in the food industry. You're looking at $10 million as the average cost of actually recalling products. That's notification, bringing the products back in, storage and destruction. There's a lot of hidden costs, additional costs associated with it as well. Some of the indirect costs, of course, are brand damage and lost sales that come from that. So this is it's about as big as it gets. I was reading an article that is the greatest threat to profitability for food plants operating in the U.S., and so it's the real deal. And certainly within that $10 million recall cost, there should be at least a few dry ice blasters in there, and that's exactly what we did for Wonderful this year. They recalled their products, and then they stopped production for 2 weeks and dry ice blasted their plants from head to toe. And they probably had about 6 to 7 dry ice blasters working around the clock, and that was what it was able to get their plants back up and running in that amount of time. Certainly provided a lot of value to them there. So what exactly can we clean? The types of contaminants that you'll find in nut processing are oils. Nuts are oily. Biofilm is a big one anytime we're in a food plant, of course. Organic buildup. The nuts grow on a tree and they bring dirt and leaves and organic buildup that makes its way into the equipment. So again, the audience that we're typically working with, of course, is sanitation, and they're interested in the fact that dry ice can kill microbes and it'll pass an ATP swab test and all that good stuff. So we'll typically show them that in a demo, and they'll do their swab tests, and they come out with flying colors. I have had success with eliminating allergens as well. Yeah, peanut, whey, dairy, all going on in California, and that's very, very significant to customers that change over from one product to another. So when there's a product changeover in food, that's when a deeper sanitation is required, and that's where the cold jet comes into play. If you look on the right-hand side, we've got a bucket elevator. It's a similar application to the Sheeta scales, and that those buckets come off just like the weigher buckets do off the Sheeta scale, and you're left with the structure. There's guide rails and a drive chain that moves that all around, and it is literally impossible to clean if you don't have a cold jet, and it is right next to food contact, and you can always have something fall from above down below into food into these bins, and so that's a must keep clean, which they literally don't have a way of keeping that clean unless they have a cold jet. So that's a big use of our equipment and a great spot to demo when you have the opportunity. And then down here on the bottom right, you've got this wire bear or these pucks and chains that move the product through tubing. You'll see that here on this next slide. And the process for that's food contact surfaces now. So that's very, very important. That's about number one utmost importance to these guys. So what they do is they take all this chain apart, they pull it all out of the machine. Takes them 2 days. They pressure wash it, put it back in, only to find out that they didn't clean it as well as they needed to, so they'll redo it. Anyways, that process start to finish takes about 2 days, and a number of mechanics. You can do that in place with dry ice blasting. If you show them how to clean these pucks, they will buy your equipment, and that can be done through an access port on the machine. Shoot, I got a phone call. Hang on.